Hi friends, welcome back. We're talking quadratics, solving by factoring today, and in this one we're going to do difference of squares. Remember, difference of squares is x squared minus y squared, only minus, that's why it's different, equals x plus y, x minus y. So you have something squared minus something squared. So let's take a look at our first example that we have here. X squared minus 9. So what we can do is say this is really x plus 3, x minus 3. And if you don't believe me, you can FOIL this and you'll see that your outside inside terms cancel out and you're left with x squared minus 9. So we have this. Now we're going to use our zero product property to say x plus 3 equals 0. Minus 3 from both sides, we get x equals negative 3. And over here, x minus 3 equals 0. We're going to add 3 to both sides. We get x equals positive 3. So how many answers do we have? We have 2 answers. How many should we have? 2. Perfect. Now you may be looking at this, and the other way that you can solve this is by the square root method. And I just want to show you this so you see how you can arrive at the same answers. When we are missing that b term, the one that's like just the x, right? We have just our a term and our c term. We could add 9 to both sides. If we do that, we end up with x squared equals 9. And the opposite of squaring something is to square root it. And when we square root, we get x equals, now remember, the square root of 9 isn't just 3, it's positive and negative 3, because I could put negative 3 in here to, and negative 3, quantity negative 3 squared would give me 9. So when we take something out of the radical, you got to remember plus minus. Notice that we arrived at the same answers as we did for completing the square. So let's take a look at that. So completing the square, I'm sorry, not completing the square, difference of squares. So difference of squares and solving by the square root method, both of those are fairly interchangeable. Let's take a look at this next one. If you look at this and you think, oh gosh, this looks like it could be difference of squares. However, notice that these are not perfect squares. Always ask yourself if you can factor something out. And it looks like we can get rid of a 3. If we do that, we're left with x squared minus 25. Equals 0. So using our zero product property, we have 3 equals 0. That's not true, so that just goes away. We don't care about that. But now what we have is x squared minus 25 equals 0. Now we could solve that by the square root method where we add 25 to both sides, but let's practice our difference of squares. And when I say practice, you really want to, because this comes up so much. So all this is x plus 5, x minus 5 equals 0. Let's use our zero product property to say x plus 5 equals 0. Minus 5, we get x equals negative 5. X minus 5 equals 0. And then let's go ahead and add 5 to both sides. We get x equals positive 5. And so how many solutions do we have? We have 2. How many should we have? 2. So good, we've done this correctly. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll see you next time.